So what happened to the Lingering Will is one of the biggest questions left by Kingdom Hearts 3. Appearing after Destiny was rewritten by Kairi and Sora to stop Terra-Xehanort, we see him get into a bit of a one-sided scuffle, then disappear for the rest of the Keyblade War. But why did he appear after Destiny was rewritten, and why did he suddenly disappear? Well, back in 2017, during one of the orchestra events, there was a special panel featuring Naminé and Terra in which they'd have this exchange. This place, this is a world of your memories. You're the only one the people of this time don't know the whereabouts of. I made it this far by following the links of those connected to you. Who are you? Nice to meet you. I'm a witch who manipulates memories. A witch? Right now, you're bound by two sets of memories. One is your own memories. The other is that of a very dark power. Master Xehanort. Soon you will be touched by a familiar light. Please guide her so that she isn't confused by the darkness. She, Aqua? But I can't do anything the way I am now. Everyone is fighting in the ways they can. I want you to believe in yourself and fight so that your heart doesn't melt into the darkness. We will all make it to the same place, you see. Aqua, Vin, someday no matter what, the unknown place. I've never forgotten what happened on that day. I'll make it here and show you no matter what. This was initially thought to be between the events of Kingdom Hearts 0.2 and Kingdom Hearts 3, but in the final world, Naminé reveals to Sora that she made contact with a light that is still missing, stating that she was tipping the scales in the favors of the Guardians, in which the Lingering Will appears and pushes back Terra-Xehanort right after, clearing one of the biggest obstacles the 7 Guardians had faced before, of course, they got into the actual war. So though Naminé talks about giving guidance to a familiar light, that may be more to speak on what happens in the original timeline in which Aqua surrenders to the giant tornado of Heartless, which subsequently led to the initial failure of the Guardians. Or it could even be a misinterpretation or mistranslation, and maybe she said her light will guide Terra back, which makes more sense as this is exactly what Terra says upon getting his body back. So now that we know why he came, why does the Lingering Will disappear? Well, I have my own theory that went a little like this. The Lingering Will is the mind of Terra inside of his armor. We saw the armors of both Xehanort and Master Ericus move on their own as well. So I believe this goes into what Xehanort mentions in his original Birth by Sleep reports, when he says that the Keyblade armor protects, in air quotes, the user from darkness. Well, the only armors that we've seen move on their own without an outside influence, so not like Ventus's armor within Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, is Terra's, Xehanort's, and then also Master Ericus's. These characters all fell within the story of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Xehanort is defeated by Aqua, Ericus is killed by Xehanort, and then Terra is pushed into the deepest abyss by Master Xehanort. So it seems that the armor's protection forgoes the simple task of covering the wielder, but also acting on its own if need be, which may be why Terra Xehanort keeps wondering why the armor moves on its own, or is someone donning the armor. With this in mind, it would make sense that Naminé contacting the Lingering Will to help the Guardians by fighting Terra-Xehanort was something that lasted only to weaken Terra-Xehanort, as he was capable of defeating all 9 Guardians in his prime, but after whatever battle ensued off screen with the Lingering Will, Ventus and Aqua could very much hold their own against him and Vanitas together to an extent. In my theory, I suggested that the Lingering Will only stuck around to give Terra's heart a fighting chance. With the guidance of Aqua, it found its way back. See, Nomura mentioned in an answer about the Guardian that when the Guardian was summoned and defeated, that was Terra's heart going back and forth between the body and the Guardian, essentially a heartless bound to the incarnations of Terra-Xehanort, so basically Terra-Xehanort himself, and then of course Ansem the Seeker of Darkness. This is why we see it in the bondages, and in the Skein of Severance we see struggle from the Guardian during the battle, and audio cues from Ansem the Seeker of Darkness in the battle against Ansem, Ziggy, and Recuplica, in which he groans, "Shadow!" But Nomura would also touch on the subject of the Lingering Will as well, stating that my thoughts weren't too far south of the actual truth, stating when Terra returned, the Lingering Will disappeared, but it doesn't but it doesn't participate at all within the Skin of Severance, so he can't mean post-battle, but rather when Terra's heart had returned to the body of Terra-Xehanort, which he also confirmed when asked why Terra wasn't revived just like Xehanort in Dream Drop Distance, stating that only the body was revived and that body was eventually reunited with Terra's heart in another answer. So, in summary, I think the Lingering Real returned thanks to the intervention of Nominate to keep Destiny from repeating. The Lingering Will battled with Terra-Xehanort off screen till Terra's heart had returned to his body. After returning, the Lingering Will faded away and was Aqua and Ventus's light that guided his heart back home. So they guided his heart back, allowing him to put a stop to Terra-Xehanort and reunite with his friends, which was what we saw at the end of the battle. So in closing, I want to say that I think they originally were going to do a lot more with Terra-Xehanort and the Lingering Will. I can honestly say that I think that he was going to be playable, but that battle and all of its cutscenes got scrapped. This was probably due to time constraints, and that's not to make an excuse for the devs or Nomura, but we know that the DLC being worked on right now has a huge emphasis on battles, and Nomura has already expressed that he wanted to do more with the Keyblade War itself than what we got in the day one version of the game. And I say day one version of the game because we already know that there's confirmed DLC, so if he wanted to do more with the battles, I think that what we got, which was essentially like the Skin of Severance, when we get that DLC, don't be surprised if the whole Skin of Severance idea is just gone. So, keeping their deaths and what they say after they die, I think we'll keep that. But don't be surprised if, like, those battles actually become these more intricate, detailed, and, more satisfying battles going forward. We may potentially keep the Skin of Severance, we may keep it, but I don't think the battles will be the same. That's what I'm essentially saying. I think the battles will be transformed. I think characters will, instead of going into those like powered up versions after you defeat one of the characters, I think we could see a battle in which it's like two different fighters that complement each other, but then also at the same time too, of course, those battles that Tetsuya Nomura no fans have been waiting on. Like for years I've been fucking waiting to see Xemnas versus Roxas, because it felt like it made perfect sense. The nobody of Xehanort, or Terra-Xehanort I should say, the nobody of Terra-Xehanort versus the nobody of Sora, and then of course Xemnas was the motherfucker that set up all of the shit that happened to Roxas. It made sense, and even I think at the end of 358 Days Over 2, Roxas's whole plan was to reach Xemnas after taking out the rest of the organization, taking him out, and then setting Kingdom Hearts free. But Riku didn't believe in his abilities to defeat Xemnas, and that's why, well, actually, it was Diz, or Ansem the Wise, that didn't believe in his abilities and didn't think that, of course, he could stop Xemnas. But, of course, it was revealed down the line that Roxas could have taken the place of Sora and actually defeated Xemnas, and, of course, he could have been the hero of the story. However, it was Sora's place to be the hero of the story, and that's what they pretty much found out in Kingdom Hearts, or that's what Sora found out within Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, which is what led to him wanting to set Roxas free, because he was strong enough, he had the will, and he had his own life to be his own person. So definitely, all of that stuff happened. So, whether or not it be mechanics or changing the entirety of the end game to be a bigger spectacle with more battles that feel like final battles or final bosses than, of course, what we got, in which it feels like they all felt like mini bosses, I guess you could say, we will have to wait and see. But that's a topic for another video entirely. Yes, there will eventually be a video talking about how I think the Keyblade War should play out in the DLC. So if they're changing things like battles and stuff, I want to do a video talking about how I think it should play out and how I think it could be made better than what we actually got. To be honest, I don't think anything about the Xehanort fight, besides the 13. The 13 needs to be changed. It's too simple, they don't attack enough, and of course, they don't have enough different variety of abilities for any type of real battle. I know the Ziggy one does something different. The Ziggy one is the only one that stays close to the original character. The rest of them just have those swipes and stuff that they all do, and even then it's some of them don't even swipe. They don't swipe. The Luxor one does something different too, but besides the 13 and stuff that you fight before you start to fight actual Master Xehanort, I think that actual Master Xehanort could be made a little bit tougher. He could be made he could be designed a little bit better. But other than that, I like Master Xehanort. The 13 can need changes, and the events within the Skein of Severance need changes. But I'll talk about that in another video. So hopefully this video was very informative. I hope it's informative enough. Talking about the Lingering Will, what happened to the Lingering Will, and hopefully giving you guys some new information. This has been your boy Amaziah. Don't forget to do a little A-class gaming in everything you do. Don't forget to keep it A-class. And I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Peace the heck out.
What's left of me?